Welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Life in Michigan is more than an online magazine. We share the stories, experiences, and vibrant personalities that make the Great Lakes state truly unique. In this podcast, we bring you inspiring, heartwarming, and sometimes unexpected conversations with people who call Michigan home. From the rugged beauty of the Upper Peninsula to the bustling creativity of Kalamazoo, we'll cover the stories and define what it means to live, work, and play in Michigan. Today on Life in Michigan, we are talking to Robin and Bill Scully, who are living the dream in Grand Marais, Michigan. Get cozy and join us for the conversation. Oh, isn't that fun? Hey, so how are you guys doing?
Hey,
Wonderful.
We're doing great.
Awesome.
Loving it up here. We're deep in snow. It's,
I was going to say, you actually have snow. So like the UP200 just occurred, or is occurring, right? It's finishing now. Is that true?
Well, it finished yesterday morning.
Oh,
Sometime
all
yesterday
right.
they would have got back into Marquette. Yes.
Nice. And Bill, you were out there on the race course?
Right. So wherever there's a road crossing, trail crossing for the dog sleds, they have people stationed there to kind of control traffic flow, stop traffic when the dogs are coming through, because you don't want to stop the dogs.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. It turns into I was at an intersection, so there was crossroads, and the dogs needed to stay on the road, but there's a snowmobile trail parallel to the road, and some of the dogs wanted to turn right, some wanted to turn left, some wanted to turn both directions, some wanted to go on the snowmobile. It was kind of cool to help with the kind of guiding, I guess we were.
Yeah.
With the dogs.
That's awesome.
Then the mushers were wonderful. I mean, they were thankful, and we cheered them along. And because we're out there, there was three to four at our crossing site. So, I mean, we were it till the next crossing, and kind of give them a cheer. And yeah,
awesome. Had you guys done that before?
I've never done. Well, we helped.
Yeah, it was funny. We used to always take a trip before we lived up here in February for like 10 days or 2 weeks. And one of the first local things we got invited to was a party. All the local people, like, it brings the community together a lot. And all the local people, like at these station people all over town, or the dogs are coming through, and they have these campfires, and everyone stands around and like talks and brings snacks and drinks and whatnot, and hangs out and is there. So we got to meet a lot of people in one of our first times in town for the dog sled race, at one of these crossing parties, and they kind of have them all over town. It's really neat.
That's cool.
So how long is the UP200? Is it 200 miles? Is that the reason why
it's like, I think it works out just over.
It's it's
like 210, 220, something like that.
It's kind of like the track is just over 200 miles from Marquette to Grand Marais and back to Marquette. So
okay.
100 miles each way, just over 100 each way.
And how long does it take? 24, 48 hours?
So the dogs, they have a big party in Marquette too when the race starts. I think, do they start at 7 p.m. The dogs started leaving, and they get to Wetmore, which is just outside of Munising, and they're required to have a 5-hour layover there to let the dogs rest, eat. The mushers, same. And so after that, they get back on the trail, and they head to Grand Marais. I think they started arriving 10:30, 11 o'clock Saturday morning in Grand Marais.
Oh, okay.
With the last one arriving at just before 7 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So then they have another. They have after, once you get to Grand Marais, they have, I think, 11 hours of layover throughout the rest of the race. So they can stay in Grand Marais 5 hours. They can stay in Grand Marais 11 hours and continue the whole race through. Most stayed around 5. So dogs started heading back out of town. So it was after 5 o'clock until they started heading out, and then. They didn't head out till the last musher was in. So after 7, and that last musher went through our check station just after midnight.
Oh man.
So I started, they do shifts of it. So the first shift is during the day, and then my shift started at 5 p.m. and until it's done. until the last one goes through. So I was there till like 12:30.
Wow. And do you get
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
It was fun.
It does sound like cool, but also cold. So
It got cold. We got a fire going.
Okay.
And I was able to. There was people there that I knew who they were, but didn't really know them. So I got to know them pretty decent while talking and so on. And yeah, it's cool. It got cold. I had to go. I'll admit, I had to go sit in my truck for a little while because I was getting cold at about 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Hours out in the night in the UP.
Yeah. It snowed the whole time, and it was It was lovely.
So did you get good pics? Did you get any good pictures?
I got a couple of videos of the first 2 dogs heading back out of Grand Marais. Yeah, and after that, then I don't know. It got cold, and yeah, it wasn't. They were few and far between. But it's fun watching the dogs run. I mean, it's just quiet.
Yeah.
The dogs may bark, they may not bark, but then it's just quietness, and you hear you hear their feet trampling through, and the sled going through them. Yeah.
Nice.
Fun.
Nice.
And they have the communication the musher has with the dogs. I don't know what language or but they have different, left and right. They have terms that they use that the dogs understand, and it's cool. It's
neat.
It's very neat.
Yeah.
That's a cool little slice of UP subculture.
For sure. Absolutely. When I ran into Bill at Withington's, over in Chelsea, that really cute little specialty wine store over in Chelsea last fall, I think I said something like, how are you doing now that the cat's out of the bag, Bill? You're going to retire. Everybody knows. How are you feeling now that it's official? And you said something like, it will be great once I'm in the North Woods. And I'm like, it stuck with me. I'm like, what a great story concept, building your perfect life up in the UP in Grand Marais. I mean, and that idea has been it's been back there percolating, and I'm like, I gotta figure out how to work this into something. And then boom, we're gonna do a Life in Michigan, podcast. And I'm like, okay, I know who's gonna be first. So I just want to, again, thank you so much for sharing the story with us, and for being here. I didn't know anything about the UP200. I didn't even know it was 200 miles, right? I don't know. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And
Really
we've
honored.
So do you remember the first time that either of you went to the UP? I mean, and for people that are outside of Michigan that may be listening to this, the UP is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So I forget that, we have our own lingo here in Michigan. So we might have to put some definitions in there along the way.
Right.
But do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
So do you remember the first time you guys crossed the bridge? And
together or
maybe together or separate? Do you have maybe it's more memorable, your most memorable moment of crossing the bridge into the UP?
Oh, that might have. Well, the most memorable bridge crossing was with you guys, actually. Yeah, but no, Bill vacationed up here as a kid.
Yeah, my dad loved it up here, so we vacationed in the UP a lot.
And then I was brought up here with my grandparents because I have family roots just down the road here from Grand Marais, and they wanted to come up and go to the cemetery and look at all that. And then they, took me around visiting Tawamnon Falls and some things in the area and the Sulaks. And but yeah, we both had good memories, and that's kind of one of the things I think we connected on in our relationship, is that we both loved going up north. And then as we started dating and traveling to the UP together, we always liked it. And eventually after we were married and stuff, we talked it passed in conversation multiple times. Like, and wouldn't it be cool to retire up there?
When you were talking and you put in air quotes for people that couldn't see you do the up north air quote.
Do they say that in other states? But everyone in Michigan goes up north.
Up north, yeah.
Up north.
It's a term.
So where is up north for you? I mean, everybody has a different line. Where's your up north?
As Jay Steelster says, you crossed over the lines when you see those white birches and pines, and that line goes probably like from, like Clare to Clare's in the middle, and if you go east and west, probably around Clare's when it starts getting more. Oh, my favorite line. Now, this is not to be derogatory to anyone, but more trees and less assholes.
Exactly. Yeah.
That could mean just populate people.
Yeah.
And what coincides with that, I remember my sister asked my mom, "Where's up north at? Where does it start?" Well, I don't, when you start seeing the Mackinac Bridge sign, go to Clare this way, Mackinac Bridge this way.
That's Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
Mount Pleasant.
Yeah,
Clare too.
I'm teasing because we run the ride.
Yeah.
So
I have heard people say like Mount Pleasant, when you get past Mount Pleasant, that's up north. But I do agree, like what you were saying, is that sort of that tree line, when you start feeling like there's more trees and less assholes and less houses and everything else, then it's like, oh, we've arrived.
We're up north.
Yeah.
So for our listeners that are not familiar with the map of Michigan, where exactly is Grand Marais? Because there's two Grand Marais. There's Grand Marais over in, I think, Minnesota. Yeah.
Minnesota.
So where's the Grand Marais in Michigan? Where exactly is that?
It is
and you can't use your hand.
I know, right?
Map,
that's tough. We have to make this audio friendly. So if you, it's kind of in the eastern central UP, and it is on the shore of Lake Superior. And if you're familiar or have heard about the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, we are that runs between Munising, Michigan on the west side and Grand Marais on the east side. So we are the eastern border to the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore.
All right.
Yeah.
I could probably find that without Google Maps now.
Yeah. Go north and west a little, and when you hit Lake Superior, you're probably pretty close.
Yeah. So Grand Marais is like a little tiny town. What was the draw for you guys?
Part of that, we're from Manchester, so we're used to small town living, but it's funny, Manchester's starting to feel big compared to Grand Marais.
Really? Yeah.
There's only 239 people that have Grand Marais on their driver's license. So it's very small. A couple years ago, the school was only K through 11 because there wasn't any seniors 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Our basketball team is 6th through 12th grade co-ed to get enough kids to make a team.
That's awesome.
We do have a school here. That's cool. Yeah.
There is a school.
There is a school. We're in the Paradise Fund. That's a neat thing about our community. There's 5 towns in Michigan that, per pupil funding in Michigan is how schools work. And when you have that small of a school, you can't really offer a decent enough curriculum with that low of a student body. So they're Grand Marais, Michigan, Beaver Island, Michigan, Mackinac Island, Michigan, Detour Village, and Paradise. And Detour Village is a little town right before you go over to Drummond Island. So those 5 towns are in something called the Paradise Fund, and we get a better amount from the state so that we can offer a good curriculum, even though we're a very tiny population.
Nice. Very nice.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
So what was it about that town that drew you guys over there, besides it being small like Manchester?
Because
there's a lot of cool places in the UP, right? I mean,
absolutely.
So many cool places.
So many. Bill we were talking about this, and Bill made a good point. It's like, it's on Lake Superior shore, but a lot of the other towns on the shore, actually on the lake, are bigger towns. And this town is really tiny. We have not a lot of commercialism. tons of trees. The lake, when if you've been here, if you do visit, you're coming up from Seney, and you're rolling down this hill of M77 heading north. And as you crest the hill, like Lake Superior fills up your whole view. And there's just this sweet little village there. And it's all lake and trees and a couple little businesses down the hill and one little main road through town that goes straight out to the lake. And it's it's a Coast Guard town too. So it has it's a harbor of refuge.
Yeah.
You can see why it's been written. When you get here, it's just, blue ribbon trout streams, the beautiful teal blue water of Lake Superior, the hemlock forest and the tall pines and inland lakes. And there's just like every kind of nature recreation and playground or relaxation you want, and like very little commercialism.
Yeah.
And so it's a reason it's been written about by Jim Harrison and Jay Steelstraw and Hemingway. And like, it's a really special place.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Jay a couple of times. Wasn't part of his play the North Country Opera? Wasn't that like actually based in Grand Marais, or theoretically inspired by?
Yeah, you summed that up pretty well. So if anyone doesn't know, Jay Steelstraw is singer-songwriter, playwright, high school teacher, coach, broke athletic records at the University of Michigan. Just an amazing guy who died at the age of 90 almost a year ago. And he used to come up here a lot and fished and hunted and just relaxed and enjoyed this area. And he wrote a lot of songs, and then was inspired and wrote a play called the North Country Opera that is based in the Dunes. Well, back then it wasn't even called the Dune Saloon, but in the bar that is now the Dune Saloon, aka Lake Superior Brewing Company. And he really summed it up at what that play was written 40 some years ago, and so much of what is in it is still completely relevant today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that Jay is a pretty interesting guy. If you don't know about him, you should check him out.
For sure. So the winter is like especially challenging time in Michigan. Typically, the last couple of years you haven't had snow, but you've had quite a bit of snow. What is that like, being up there for an extended period of time with tons of snow, ice? And you're a good hour away from, like you said, there's not a lot of like major conveniences in Grand Marais. So you got to, everywhere you go, it feels like when we've been with you guys, it's like, oh, let's go to Musing. Oh, it's an hour away. Let's go to, it's like, oh my God, everything's an hour away.
Yeah, I mean, major things that are conveniences, I'll do the air quotes again, can be an hour away. But I think that's kind of what I like about it. It really isn't that hard to live here. The snow, I'm just going to give you a view. I don't know if you can see out that window how deep that snow is.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So we're looking out at and part of it is off our roof. Full disclosure, roof, but I mean,
5-foot snowdrift there.
That's from the window. From the deck, it's probably 6.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I don't know. It's exciting. It makes me want to go outside every day and play, because when it's just cold and damp, But when you're up here, it's like, it's snow. We can go out and go cross country skiing, or go snowshoeing, or go snowmobiling, or go ice skating, or, go ice fishing. There's just so much fun you can do, where you just feel trapped inside and you just like spend money or watch TV or something, or you feel downstate, or you feel cozy to just like read a book and look out at it, or practice playing guitar or something. I don't know, it forces you to just it's kind of how COVID was. Like you just,
that's,
you do that kind of stuff versus going out so much. And I don't know, I love it. It's not hard at all.
I would imagine.
Of course. It is. It's this whole, it's a challenge, but I wouldn't want to do anything different. It can be a challenge. It's not a challenge every day, but this morning we woke up with almost a foot of fresh snow on the ground, and
wow.
Monday's garbage day, so we have to go put the garbage can out. I didn't want and I got stuck at the end of the driveway. Couldn't take the car.
Come to find out, there was too much snow and the garbage truck decided not to come today anyway after all of that.
So do you have bear? Do you
Oh,
do you like have bear there close? Do you have to like
they like garbage and they like bird feeders. So you kind of have to be conscious of that. We've seen lots and lots of them. The one crawled right in the back of Bill's truck.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
And there was a bag, we were moving and there was a bag of garbage back there. And I woke up in the morning and like, what? There's an ice cream container in the yard. And then we saw the bear tracks on the truck. And then like the next day we saw the bear out checking again, like coming back for more. So we've seen a lot of bears. Yeah.
Nice. Have you guys, are there wolves in that area at all? Have you come across any?
Yeah.
Yeah, just even the other day we were cross country skiing and there's fresh wolf tracks on the trail and you could hear the howling a little bit off in the distance. So yeah.
Really? Oh,
and we
man.
had a friend of a friend who was just skiing with her the previous day she's native and she kind of like knew what to look, and so there was wolf scat on the trail, and so she like took a stick and like broke it open and it had like bones in it and stuff, and like she identified it wolf versus coyote, and and so it was definitely carnivorous because there's bones in there. And this girl claimed it was wolves, not coyotes, but we have both. But I don't know, I've never heard of anyone's like dog it. They eat a lot, obviously they get the deer and the small rodents and
for
stuff,
sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think it's awesome that we have that kind of wildlife in Michigan. That is so cool. That is awesome.
Yeah, we see a lot of cool stuff. And one day I had like we have a lot of so many grouse, or what's the other word? Partridge, grouse, whatever. And they're funny. They're really docile and they kind of like cruise all around. And one crashed into my window this fall. And I was like, what is that? And something ate its head off. And there's all these theories that my friends like, well, it was being chased by an owl and I'll eat the head off because they do that. It's like I don't know, just a lot of crazy nature stuff happens.
Those things always scare the hell out of me when we're on a trail, because it just seems like you'll walk up on them and then they'll do that. Like, what in the hell?
And then you could almost pick them up with your hand.
Yeah, we just heard stories this fall of they come in and a hunter will be out in the woods and one will land on its shoulder.
It's there to hunt him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's Chuck's dream. He wants one of the chickadees to come up to the window and like land on his hand, and
so we got the feeder like right outside the where Brenda's cozy nook is basically, and so it's basically a sunroom at our house, but we got that little feeder out there. And now the chickadee, he'll fly up there and you can be standing right by there and he won't fly away. And I've had the window open and he still flies by. He doesn't try to fly into the open window, but he'll come over, get his food, fly out. So I think he's getting used to me.
Making progress, man. Yeah, he's warming up to you.
Yeah. My other project has been trying to get crows. We got this wildlife mix that we've been putting outside, which just like right before we started talking with you guys, there were 8 rabbits out there.
Eating the crows.
So the crows haven't even stopped by. They came by one day to kind of look around because it's like got peanuts and corn and sunflower seeds and all that kind of stuff in there. The blue jays love it. Like everybody loves it.
Oh yeah,
but the crows are just like, I don't know. We're not coming down there.
Well, yeah. You just then if you want to bring bobcats in, you have crows. Like we have a UP story about that actually.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago, the kids and I were coming up to go to the house that we now own and to visit, and we were kind of on some of these back 2 tracks. We got stuck. We got scared. We had to walk a long ways. We're kind of worried because we're out there like really deep in the woods. And of course, we didn't see anything but a few birds and chipmunks, and we got rescued, all this stuff. But the person that rescued us happened to be from Ipsy and was driving us down the driveway to the house that we now own in town. And a bobcat pops out, and we're like, whoa, right in the driveway. So then the next day, kids and I are swimming in the bay, and we hear these like gunshots, and we're like, what the heck was that? Well, we can't see any evidence of it. Well, a little later, we walk over by the garage, and a crow had been up on the 2 wires, had crossed it, got zapped, and went down. And there was all these carcasses of these crows that were partially eaten.
Oh, no.
Because the bobcats were coming in to eat the dead crows that were dying.
Oh man, they were getting electrocuted, so that was the
that was the boom.
And our friends who we bought the house from, their last name started with a K, and so we were calling it KFC, Klajic Fried Crow.
Oh my gosh! Oh, the poor crows. Man.
I know. Not funny.
So, Robin, Chuck would dearly love to work at a brewery and serve beer. He actually applied for a job.
I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
When we first would you like to tell them about that, babe?
Yeah, sure. So, we just got retired, and I thought maybe I'll want to do some work, but like we're so busy all the time, I was like, I could probably maybe do a day. But so anyway, I applied at Mothfire, which is just down the road in Ann Arbor. Awesome brewery if anybody's looking for great beer in the Ann Arbor area, just by the airport. Anyway, I applied. They had me in for an interview, and they're all enthusiastic. And then I said, they're asking, well, what kind of, when are you thinking of working? And I'm like, well, I got all these things going on. We're going to be out of town for like a month, and but I could work a day a week, and and I could almost see their look. I think it was David's face. He's like, he was smiling and being nice, but I knew right then. It's like, there's no way this guy's fucking hiring me. He's like, no. What is this fucking guy doing? No, this is not happening. But yes, I would love to, because when we've been to the beer fests and stuff like that, if we've gotten a chance to like sling some beers, I'm like all over it. It's just so fun. You get to talk to somebody, and I'm sure it's a lot of work. But on the other hand, I'm just me thinking of it like, oh, it'll just be a good time. So is it really a good time?
It is a good time. So, it is like, when people are at the bar, they're usually really happy. They're, especially up here, they're usually on vacation, and they're
so
happy.
I need to interrupt. Robin works at the Lake Superior Brewing Company, and we probably need to let our listeners know a little bit more about the Lake Superior Brewing Company. It's like, what, the oldest brewery in Michigan? No, yeah.
It was the second oldest brewery in modern times in the UP.
In the UP.
In the UP. First one was Hereford and Hops down in Escanaba. Their brewery was 2 days before ours. When I say ours, I'm just an employee. It's not mine. I'm just a server there. But so, and it also was the first woman-owned brewery in Michigan, though. Chris Sarver, who's still it's really the Dune Saloon and the Lake Superior Brewing Company. They added in a few years after buying it. And Chris and Karen Briz moved up from Brighton, and they bought the bar, and then they added a brewery in. And Karen was partner in the brewery then. She's not now, but I believe, and this could just be a rumor, but from what I hear, it was the first woman-owned brewery in modern times.
Karen, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that was on the. She talked with Fred Biltman from the the Beer Evangelist for like the Chronicles about the the Michigan Brewers Guild. And
Oh, cool.
Pretty sure she was on there.
I'm not just pulling a story.
No.
Not just spreading a rumor. Okay, groovy.
Yeah, no, you're not just making it up. It's actually, I think, been told by other people.
Good ratings here. There's an up north line that my grandpa used to use, and then a guy up here I overheard say it, and I'm like, that must be an up north thing, because my grandparents are all from northern Michigan also. And I said, don't let truth get in the way of making someone laugh.
So you, how did you get how did that work? How did you start working at the Lake Superior Brewing Company and the Dunes Saloon?
Well, back the story up a little. So Bill and I, thought of wanting to retire up here, and we'd been looking at houses, and we eventually bought the house we were always vacationing up here from our very dear friends, the Klajics. And when we did that, the plan was kind of like to live up here and down there, and manage the rental and get the hang of it, and then maybe, you know, hire other people to clean it and help manage. And once I got up there, I just loved living here. Like
She wouldn't come back.
It was amazing. Like living here is incredible. And I was like, oh man, I don't even want to go. I miss my family and my friends so much, but like, I just wanted them, they were getting mad at me because I always wanted to come up and see me. I didn't want to come down anymore, going below the bridge anymore, you know, like, and so, once I decided like, you know, I think I'm going to stay and manage this. I had to rent another place. I was kind of crashing at a friend's house and stuff. So I had to rent a place, and it's getting more expensive to just like kind of live here. And so I thought, I have to get a paying job. And so I applied at the brewery. It was our favorite place, and we have lots of fun stories and shenanigans and over the years, and it's such a great history, legendary bar that we love. And so I thought, well, if there's anywhere to work here, I think I'd like to work at that place. And I had friends who worked there, and so I went in and talked and said, hey, would you give me a job? And they graciously let me work there, and it's been great. It's like a family, and I've made so many close friendships. I think it really rooted me in staying here. Like it's a family down there, and I have so many close friends that I work with now. And it's a storied place that has a lot of history. Before my time, Jim Harrison was in there a lot. When I was up here, then when he was in there, I had little kids, so I wasn't in the bar so much. I was spending a lot of time then up here. But
so Jim Harrison is
an author who he wrote the book that became the screenplay for Legends of the Fall, and he has a cabin camp here, and he loved to fish, and it was right on the Sucker River. And he's written many other books, such as Brown Dog, True North, so many books. Anyway, and he's a character, and he'd sit in there and hold court almost, and people would gather around, and he'd say all kinds of funny shit, and he'd end up dragging half the bar home with him and cooking them a 4-hour meal. And he's a cool dude, and he talks about Grand Marais a lot in his books. And so there's a lot of history in that bar. It's been a bar since the 1800s. It burned in the 40s, was rebuilt with all wood that was logged in the area, and there used to be 2 sawmills on the harbor and back in the 40s, and all the wood inside the interior of the bars from that. This could be a rumor or true, but they say there used to, back in the logging and fur trading and fishing era here, that the upstairs may have served as a brothel.
I can imagine it. I mean, there's really not. The town is not big, like we've talked about, and that is kind of the focus point of the town. I mean, other than the lake and the beautiful views and everything, but as far as a place to go, whenever I think of going up to Grand Marais, it's there, right? So I can imagine that would be the focal point for God knows what.
It's a cool place with good food and fun times and really relaxed atmosphere. Nothing formal, just that it's cool.
And they have pizza and ribs. The last time I was there were like the 2 things to eat while you were there. Yeah.
Yeah, those are excellent, and we're known for our Scotch eggs and our Parmesan garlic popcorn and
whitefish in the summer.
Yes, and then probably Bill made the point. The most in the summer we get fresh whitefish in, and never frozen, and people come from all around for our whitefish that we never freeze it, and it's delicious.
Oh man, how have I not had that?
I know. So you mentioned logging. I think we've hiked with you at least twice, maybe 3 times up to the log slide. That's just out like where like talk to our listeners a little bit about the log slide and that trail like on there. Is that in Pictured Rocks or?
It is, yeah. So Pictured Rocks runs all the way from Munising to Grand Marais. And the Grand Marais, the east side, is all sand dunes called the Grand Sable Dunes. And that means like big sand in French, and from the French fur trading days. And then on the western side of the park is where you go, like it must have been old, I don't know, but I'm thinking like sand dunes used to be kind of rocky cliffs, and they've more kind of disintegrated down and eroded.
Right.
And so now you have the sand dunes on one side, and still the big rocky cliffs more on the west side. and they both offer kind of like different beautiful vantage points. And so back in the days when they were logging, they would shoot the logs from the top of the sand dune down to the lake and then float them into Grand Marais, and then there are sawmills there on the bay, and then the wood would get processed at the sawmills there. So now though, it's in the national park, and people go down the log slide, which is kind of like similar to what many people maybe have been to in Sleeping Bear, the big sand dune. You can go down and come back up with the big view. It's very pure Michigan. You look to the east and you see the light in Grand Marais, and you look to the west and you see the Grand Sable Lighthouse. And you can go down and decide not to go back up and just walk to town. Bill and I, if we want to, like at 4th of July, you know, there's a bazillion people. And this year, like, oh man, we're too many people. So we went down the log slide, just took 4 hours and had a couple of beers, walk to town. you can go skinny dipping out there. No one will see you. No people anywhere.
So do you ever get I mean, now I should back up a little bit. Now, Bill, you've been a fireman most of your life, and now you are you volunteering at all up in Grand Marais? And if you are, I think you are. I know you are. Have you gotten calls for people getting stranded on the log slide?
So I guess I start off, Manchester in this February and April, I'll have 40 years.
Wow, as a fireman. Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And we were, I don't know, it's been about 3 years ago now. So the ambulance in Grand Marais, originally it started as, which in Grand Marais is in Burt Township. So it started out as Burt Township Ambulance. It was its own ambulance, owned by the township, ran by the township. Employees were employees of the township. Well, there was an ad in the, actually it was a Facebook ad. They were looking for help for people up here. They were looking for EMTs. So I've been an EMT for 20 some years. So I thought, you know what, I'm spending enough time up here, Robin, I could probably help maybe. So I went and I made contact and talked to them. And then I realized that the ambulance was actually part of Alger County now because of the short staffing in Grand Marais. They can't always have enough people to run the ambulance. So I became an employee of Alger County, and I've volunteered some time, and I've been up here. I try to get some hours in because they need people. It's not like a volunteer fire department where the people's pager goes off and they go to the fire station. Here, there's certain people you're assigned times, 12-hour shifts to be on call for the ambulance. And it's I've been on a few calls, and I've been once I got into meeting some of the people, I'm like, you know, Grand Marais is a retirement community. So the people up here, you know, there's not many young people. There are a lot. I don't want to say old, but there's a lot of older people on there.
Just be careful, because we're retired now too.
So am I. And I had that question. I was talking with one of the older gentlemen that was part of the crew, and I said, so the log slide, I said, what happens when somebody goes down or falls down or whatever and has a problem? And he says, well, you see that big reel, there's this huge reel with rope on it. And he says, we take that out there, and that's what we lower down. Somebody goes down with it to either hopefully not bring the person back up, that we can continue to lower them down to the lake, and the Coast Guard will come in and we can put them on the boat and they'll take them to the marina. They said, sometimes they're not available and we have to crank this rope back. We get volunteers to help pull the rope back up to bring the person up to the top. So the log slide is 300-foot vertical.
Wow.
But it's 500 feet. If you go down it or come up, it's 500 feet of actual terrain. So I mean, it's a steep angle.
Yeah.
And it's so far I haven't had any possibility, or haven't been involved with a rescue onto the log slide, but we've seen a lot of people go down it and come back up. They're like, oh, I think we're gonna die.
Wish they hadn't done that. Probably.
I wish they hadn't done that.
Yeah.
Because what is it? 5-10 seconds to get to the bottom if they run.
Oh yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah. And coming back up can
Well, yeah, I mean, our son, we got to throw him a little bone. He got up in like 5 or 6 minutes, but yeah,
Oh,
wow. Like, I think probably like it would take me 45 minutes to get up it probably. I don't know.
Well, I don't think I realized that you could walk into town like on the shore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see that? That's maybe a key piece of information we're sharing with people. It's like, hey, you don't have, you can just go boop down and around.
Don't tell him.
Oh, crazy.
So we should probably switch gears a little bit looking at the time. Talk about music a little bit, right? Like, yeah, you both.
Well, yeah, I think moving up here, you kind of asked about how do you live here? And really I didn't ever feel like, oh no, it was inconvenient. But the only thing that outside of course of the obvious being away from friends and family, let me start with that. But as far as like livability of convenience of things, the thing that I was really missing is love to go out for live music downstate, not big concert venues or anything, but just like go to a local bar, go into the Arc or Johnny Speakeasy or other little venues and house concerts and stuff, and take in live local music. And there's such an abundance of wonderful musicians in the Ann Arbor area, and there was always somewhere to go see music, multiple times a week if you wanted. And that I was really feeling that when I decided to stay up here, that when I would go, I would go do laundry in Munising at the laundromat, and then go catch this one band that I got to know and fell in love with their music. And when they played Wednesday nights at the brewery in Munising, and so I started like, oh wow, this is a big thing to go to music. It's not just I can't drink because I got to drive an hour home, and it's a it's a big ordeal. And it was like, even though I love that band, I was mostly just seeing that one band play a lot of the same songs week after week. And so there wasn't an abundance of variety close by here. Now Marquette, that would be a whole different story, but in Grand Marais, it's pretty limited. We get music in the brewery every once in a while, and there's a big music fest every August that a lot of people come to. But if you just kind of want to hit music all the time or once a week or something, that's not doable. So I did start having a few house concerts up here with some Ann Arbor buddies, and then decided we have such a cool area and people seem to like those house concerts, and so we started using an outside venue and just making it welcome to the public. And it's this beautiful pavilion in one of our parks that's perched up over Agate Beach, and you can watch the sun go down. And now it morphed into organizing a summer concert series of June through September, and there's 10 concerts in the summer, and it's free and it's fun. And I was kind of helping support that, and some local businesses were helping, and hotels were putting people up. And now that Bill's retired, I really need more help with that.
So much for retirement life.
Yeah.
I've like maxed out my potential shifts I can pick up at the bar.
So do you have your talent or your bands booked for this summer yet? Have you thought about that?
I do have many of them. I have a few spots here that I'm still negotiating dates and people, but yeah, we have Sherry Kane and Dave Steele. Gosh, I don't even have that in front of me. I have the Whiskey Ryan and Catfish Kennedy, my band I was just talking about from Munising. Those have turned into dear friends, and they're wonderful musicians. We can put
a link in the show notes.
Yes, let's do that, because I'm gonna mess that up right now.
Yeah. No, and I caught you off guard, like
no, I should have that in front of me. I don't. So so there's a great lineup, and it's free, and you just bring your lawn chair and whatever you want to drink or whatever, and you just sit back and relax. It's really a nice
wonderful setting.
Yeah, it's a nice
watching
energy.
The sun go down over the water,
and it's all different venues. It'll be folk music, rock music, bluegrass music. We've had blues, all kinds of stuff. So it's not just it's kind of a little bit of everything, and
nice.
A lot of singer songwriter. People play covers, but we get a lot of people that are writing their own music.
Nice.
So yeah.
I'm trying to remember. We saw a show with you guys at someplace, and it was like a Delta Blues guy, or
Oh yeah, they are one of my bands. Yes, that is Reverend Robert and the
oh,
Bones band,
that's
Bobby
right.
Reynolds, and yeah, and those guys are incredible. And Bobby's out touring the world right now, playing. He's really highly demanded, playing the Delta Blues, and yeah, they also live in Mississippi part of the year,
Okay.
and so that is really good. They will be I think August 15th. They're playing actually.
Wow,
So that's
awesome.
a great concert. If you want to catch a good one, they're all going to be good, but that one's exceptionally good. So
Yeah, that was really that was a lot of fun when we came out there and with you guys and checked that out, because that was a good
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've talked about it a little bit during the course of this conversation, but you guys have an Airbnb up there in Grand Marais. So what are some of, I mean, and I've stayed at it and it's quite the sweet spot. But what are some of the surprises that you've or lessons you've learned about hosting a Airbnb in a small remote town?
Oh, I guess we'd never had an Airbnb before, or a vacation rental before, so we really don't have a lot to compare. I don't know that the small town has posed too many challenges. I kind of like to be totally transparent. I mean, like, Amazon is your friend here. Um, yeah, I didn't want to use it too much when I lived downstate, but it's kind of that convenience of a necessity. You just got to plan a little more, and nothing's gonna show up today or tomorrow, or you're not gonna run to the store. We actually, and I shouldn't say that, like, we have a great hardware store
in town.
that I do get a lot of things in it, like that I need, and I will go there first if they have it, and if they don't, then I will order. But yeah, so it hasn't been real hard at all, really. I think the main thing was, and I think this is true anywhere, and this isn't to downplay anybody who's helped me out there. It's just once I started doing it, I really liked managing it and just kind of took a lot of pride in making it feel like welcoming people into our home, not like, oh, you're just we own 6 properties, and
Yeah.
someone else ran through and half-ass cleaned it. Not that the people have helped me clean ever half-ass cleaned it. They've done a wonderful job, but just in general, like, we've experienced that going to other Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to really make it feel like we care. We do the extra touches. We try to have everything there you would need and make it very comfortable and clean. And I want to, like, be the last one to walk out that door before the customer walks in, and I want to see what they're gonna feel when they arrive and what they're gonna experience. And I almost felt bad because I probably was micromanaging the people that helped me, like, hey, did you do this? Did you check that? So that's important, and I just want to do it myself. And so that was the challenge. Like, originally it was going to be kind of like back and forth, sometimes us do it, sometimes someone else. And then I just decided how much loving living here and wanting to stay here and make sure that was okay, that really led me to staying here. And then I guess we can touch on this. It's been hard. That I think the hard thing is that Bill then was still working, of course, at Chrysler at the Chelsea Proving Grounds as an engineer, and I was up here, and it took us apart from each other. And so we were seeing each other, every 2 weeks for a few days for the last 4.5 years or so. And but we've came through it, and made us closer. Here he is. It's good. I mean, that was the challenge, was being apart from him.
Yeah.
And the kids, and all that.
So what kind of guests typically visit Grand Marais? And what do you think they love most about staying at your cute little place? I know what I love about staying there, but what do you think they love about it?
I think, and I don't mean to, I feel like I'm hogging the mic here.
No, you're the.
I guess because I'm been the one.
You've been the one up here for
seeing all the people coming into the bar and managing the rental and stuff. I probably can be the one to answer this, but it isn't just one type, that's for sure. This place kind of offers all sorts of recreation, non-motorized, motorized. There's fish. In the spring I have fishermen. In the summer I have families wanting to be on a place that has a beach. We have a private beach right there. The house is right on private beach. We right on the bay, so the water's a little warmer. You can swim in there. It's got great views. people that visit town come for motorized recreation, side-by-sides, snowmobiles, dirt bikes. There's all sorts of motorized trails. And then the big one, of course, is you're right on Lake Superior and you're on Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. So we get a lot of people that are there to rock hunt, hike,
Hiking.
visit all the sites that you don't even necessarily need to do big hikes all throughout the park. Sightsee. They'll stay in Grand Marais and go over to Munising and get on the boat tour. Or, you know, we're within 45 minutes in all directions of like just a giant outdoor playground of anything you would want to do: fishing, hunting, hiking, swimming, rock hunting, boating, sailing. I mean, the sailboats go all over out front. It's just, you know, in the winter, Bill and I just got brand new cross country skis a few weeks ago, and we've been having such a hoot. And our friend Mona got us.
First day was a little bit rough.
Oh yeah.
Now we've been going out like almost every day cross country skiing. It's in the winter, you just want to be outside. You can snowshoe, cross country ski, snowmobile, ice. There's an ice skating rink here. Our town gives it free. They flood the community center, and anyone could just go in there and ice skate. It's really groovy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cold enough to keep it frozen.
Yeah, it's inside. It's indoors.
Indoor.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I have a funny story about watching Chuck try cross country ski. We got our skis and we were like, okay, we're going to do this. And we took them up. That was when the Brewers Guild was having their annual conference up in Traverse City. And we could cross country ski on the golf course. And so we take our skis out. Neither one of us have ever been on cross country skis. And we stand up and we put them on and we go about 2 feet and we both fell over. and we were going down a hill and we stood up and we fell over and we realized that everybody in the hotel could see us.
Yeah, they're watching us just fall over. And people were asking us later, they're like, were you guys outside? Like,
no, that wasn't us.
That wasn't us. It was terrible.
Like, you know, defining features that made him know it was him. Like,
yeah.
You know,
No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, the first day I did it, I'd never tried it before in my life. This was what, a week and a half ago?
No,
2 weeks ago.
3.
I don't know. I lost track of how many times I fell down. I finally, and of course they took me out and we did it 4 miles. I walked the last half mile.
But here's another really cool thing. This brings up another great thing about like what also living here, this community. So when we first tried it, you know, we're using the school has all these cross country skis, and the kids like get days to go cross country skiing, and like the school will loan out cross country skis to anyone here. And you can, so Bill was on borrowed skis from the school,
awesome.
free of use to people who want to borrow. Anyone could go in there and borrow skis, you know, and you know, but like they're not necessarily fitted right to him and all that. I mean, but it's great. Like I had a pair that were awesome that fit me great from the school. So we did end up going and buying our own skis just out of convenience. But you know, there's a lot of really nice, sweet things about this community that make it really nice to live here. If you know, you talk about conveniences and stuff, a pharmacy. Right, the closest pharmacy is 1 hour in any direction. And so if you're sick or you need something, that's really inconvenient. Well, there's this sweet guy in town that uses his own gas money and drives to Munising every day. Everybody has their credit card on file at the Munising pharmacy, Putvins. Putvins fills all the scripts, put them in envelopes, put stickers on them, and sends them to Grand Marais with him. And then they go, the people working at the gas station call and text everyone and say, "Hey, man, we got your prescription," and you know, it's in town. Like it's like Mayberry. I mean, yeah, it's got its normal crap, but like there's a lot of really sweet stuff. The school has the school forest. The kids go out there and they learn about the trees and the bird species, and they help maintain the trails, and they learn how to build fires and put them out. And I mean, part of their curriculum every day is going outside.
There's not a day you don't see
they go on a walk or
out
go
walking.
They go on a walk. They go play in school forest. They do like that's part of the curriculum here. It's really neat.
That is awesome, especially
and of course, like the last day of school, they go down and do a polar plunge.
They all jump in the bay, and it's so cold in mid-June. The teachers, everybody.
Wow.
There's some good YouTube videos of that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So,
because Lake Superior is never warm.
No.
Ever.
Well, last I mean, not to bring up climate change, but yeah, last September, this whole the lake, we swam more in September than we did the whole summer. The surface temperature of the big water, not even the bay, was 70 degrees last year.
Really?
Summer, August and September.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
It's
was
kind of
terrible.
scary.
it is.
Wow.
So we're getting close. We're rounding up. We're already 10 to 8. Can you believe it? Like,
Wow,
Yeah.
let time go.
but I do want to talk, like, when I saw that sauna that you posted on Instagram, I was like, oh my, we might need to do a road trip right now. I've got to go check out their
Sign
sauna.
up.
Hey, it's
Yeah,
open next week. Come on up.
Yeah.
After this Sunday, the rental, I have all sorts of openings available. So anyone wants to come check out the new sauna, or there's a lot of snow to play in, and come on up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about, like I guess having a sauna up in the UP is a thing, right? So like what inspired you to install a sauna?
Well, speaking of climate change and stuff, so last winter, as everyone knows, there wasn't, even up here, the winter wasn't much. We might have got some storms, but then 3 or 4 days later it would be 50 degrees and be melting. And so that really was, with tourism being the main economic driver in the area, that really impacted everybody hard, because we didn't have the snowmobilers and all the stuff that usually comes up to enjoy
Winter
the
sports
snow,
went
all
out
the
there.
winter sports. And we take our kids over to Keweenaw to go skiing, snowboarding at Mount Bohemia. And we had visited there a few times, and they have this thing there called the Nordic Spa, and they just keep adding on to it. Well, of course, it's part of Finnish culture. The loggers and these miners and everybody that came over from Finland, that was their way, like after a long, hard day, to kind of rejuvenate and cleanse and feel better. And it picked up everywhere in the UP. People have saunas, by the way. It's not a sauna. It doesn't rhyme with fauna. It rhymes with kauna. So, so the saunas are all over. And we were noticing we couldn't go skiing last year, and we spent a ton of time sitting in the sauna. And man, was that awesome and great and rejuvenating. And I understand why everyone loved it. Like, this is amazing. And the other cool thing they had there was an electric one that you could go wet. You could pour the water over the rocks and have steam. Or if you didn't want steam, you just wanted the dryer heat, you could do that too. And sometimes for some people that steam feels really heavy on their lungs and stuff. And this is like, the dry heat can be really not quite as intense as a steamy one. So we were like, man, if we aren't going to get all the snow people in, it's still a nice place to kind of come and retreat. We should put one of these in. When we wanted it kind of selfishly, but yeah, they're like, we should put one of these in because this would be a nice draw. We were down 82% last winter with the rental.
Wow.
And so the cost of the sauna was less than what we lost last winter in sales. And so, yeah, so it was kind of a no-brainer. Like, we should do this. So we made this really cool with a friend, mostly our friend Dale over in Autrain Munising. Dale Cummings built us this awesome sauna. And
he built it?
He built it for us, and it's all cedar. It smells wonderful.
Wow.
And a big window, and you're looking out to the bluff, and you can do the wet or the dry. And we love it. It's like we need the runners, but we're kind of sad because we were going in there every day. Oh, man. We go cross country skiing and then go sit in the sauna. I gotta correct myself.
So you don't sneak in while you have renters?
No, actually, we haven't. But yeah, so that's kind of a way to diversify, and hopefully, I think, and Grand Marais is also really moderate. Like, it'll be 80 just up the hill. It'll be 85 degrees, and in town it'll be 68 or something. So like in the summer, other than a handful of days, it hangs right around 70s, So, and then the water's nice and cool, and being right on the bay, that's the culture, that's the tradition. You sit in the sauna and then you go jump in the lake.
Any longer.
Yeah. So we're right there in the lake. You can get out and go jump in the lake, and so it's kind of cool. Right now, you just could jump in the snowbank that's right out the door. But you can walk right out the door and go right into the sauna. It's right off the deck. You don't have to go down into the snow or anything. So, yeah.
That's cool. It's nice.
That sounds awesome.
How much time do we have left, Chuck? Do we get to ask about food at all, or are we at time?
We can ask about food. Go ahead.
All right. Well, yeah. You know, do you have, I guess, if people were coming up to the UP or Grand Marais or anywhere in the UP, what is the one place that you would recommend a foodie go in the UP that they shouldn't miss? That's the one thing they should not miss.
Okay, a foodie. If you're gonna
A
that,
foodie.
because if one place they should go, there's a lot of places they should go. But I guess if you're a total foodie, there's a place over in Negaunee, so it's about 2 hours west of here, west of Marquette, called Streganona and
Oh,
Nana or whatever, which means witch grandma. And there's this sweet girl who grew up in that area who moved out to Portland and started a food truck. She's really entrepreneurial, really cool, great cook. And she came back to her hometown, bought a building, and opened this really cool restaurant that serves you like these. You just kind of sign up and you go in and you have the whole meal and they bring it out course by course. A lot of times the person cooking it will bring it right out and tell you about it. And it's really neat and it's all homemade from scratch. So it's cool. And they combine it's Italian, but they'll combine local things from here into the menu quite often. And but I am going to give a shout out to like Cap'n Ron's over there in Munising. They got great fish
Great
sausage
fish.
and smoked fish. Sean Howard in Munising for his fish. Fraser's Fish down once you cross over the bridge, you're in what is it in Epufet?
Epiphet.
Yeah, Epufet. I don't know how you say that, but yeah, they've got good smoked fish. So when you come up here, you got to eat fish.
yeah, smoked
Yeah,
fish.
pasties. Yep. So yeah, but it's if you want like a really cool foodie meal, go to
Oh, yeah.
Streganona.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of good cuisine to get all over the UP. And if you're, I would say if you're up in the Keweenaw, go to Fitzgerald's too. Go to the
Oh,
yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Fitzgerald's, yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
I love both of those restaurants. And that what is it for smoked fish? I think we were there the day they were smoking it at Gustafsson. Is that how you
Oh,
say it?
Gustafson's? Yeah.
Gustafson's on 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like that name always reminds me of when you watch Grumpy Old Men, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I keep expecting those characters to emerge,
I
just
know,
to come out of that
right?
gas station.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what's next for you two?
Oh, we got to get used to living together again.
So it's like a constant honeymoon there.
Oh, I don't know.
You're hogging the bathroom again, goddammit.
Yeah, no kidding. No, it's good.
Finish the move up here.
Poor guy, you retired, and I've got a honey-do list a mile long. So
It happens.
I got a job. I'm not gonna time to get a job.
No, we're just gonna enjoy more things together. I think one of the things I noticed about the difference between living here and visiting here is when you live here, all different seasons, all different times of the year, there's all these like magical things to be, and there's not just one magical trail or beach, or you mentioned that in some of your questions, that like there's like different things on different times are just like the best place to be, and when you're here all the time, you have that kind of, if you don't have to be to work at the bar, you got that luxury maybe that day to go out because the berries are really great out. The wild blueberries are everywhere in this forest, and the waves are big this day. It's a great day to go down and hunt rocks or take pictures.
Storm came through yesterday, so we're gonna go pick rocks today.
Yeah, look for agates. That Grand Marais is known for the agates. We got to mention that. And or just go see the sunset up on Cabin in the Sky, or go. There's just like amazing things everywhere that if you're here all the time, you kind of have that convenience to be like, oh man, I can go do this today because this is a perfect day for that, type of thing. So yeah, or we find out they just groomed the trails or something, Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point because you don't really think about the fact that, well, many times when we travel, I always hope that I'm going to feel local, and you have to live there, right? It doesn't matter where you're going, but you're not going to be a local. You're going to just be somebody that's trying to see as many things as possible. And so I think that's one of the great things about where you guys, you're in this wonderful, beautiful place, part of Michigan, and you live there. It's awesome.
We're still trolls, though. We're still trolls.
Always will be.
They still call you troll?
I heard a funny thing called a trooper. You're a troll that lives in the Uper. You're a troll Uper, so you're a trooper.
Awesome.
That's funny. Well, thank you so much. This was a wonderful conversation. I completely enjoyed it. I hope you did too.
Thank you.
Yes,
We
yes.
did. We're kind of embarrassed and feel, yeah. I don't know if we're living the dream, but we're trying.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. We're really honored that you
Yes.
wanted to talk. Thought we were interesting. I don't know.
Hope we were interesting.
Oh yeah, you guys are fantastic.
We hope people will come visit us and come check out what Grand Marais in this area has to offer. I mean, the North Country Trail and the Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, best part of North Country Trail runs right through here, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
They do
You're like a pure Michigan commercial.
No, you are.
And of course, at the end of the day, there's always cold beer at the Lake Superior Brewing
Yeah,
Company.
that's right.
There you
That's
go.
right. That's
Awesome.
right.
Awesome.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll be up there to visit with you soon.
We
Okay,
hope
yes,
so.
hope
Please,
so.
we're gonna hold you to that.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
All right.
Thanks.
Yep. It was so good to catch up with Robin and Bill.
Yes, it was. I can't wait to use their new sauna. But first, I need to learn how to pronounce sauna.
That's right. Sauna. Yeah, you got to have
Sauna.
that. Got to get that Finnish accent, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have it.
I keep thinking about those poor crows and that bobcat. I mean, the little popcorn. What do they call it? KFC or something like that.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that was awesome. Although, when they were talking about all the different things they experience up there in Grand Marais, I was a little bit envious of just the amount of time they get to spend in the wilderness, because really, Grand Marais is right in the middle of like nothing. I mean, there's nothing around there. I mean, there's lots of things, but there's nothing as far as like people and things. It's Michigan wilderness. And when they said that, trying to describe like a perfect trail or beach or any of that just kind of changes with the season. It's like, yeah, there's just so many opportunities, I think, for exploring if you're living up there.
I couldn't agree more. It hadn't occurred to me that depending on the weather or the seasons, the opportunities to enjoy what Grand Marais offers are different, from the waves turning up the agates on the beach to, oh my God, there's a perfect sunset today. The weather's perfect. The sky is going to be great. And then, I forget that they have blueberries up there.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
I know.
And then all of those trails just like right there. I was just beyond jealous.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about blueberries too, although I do remember picking them as a kid. So, I can't wait to get back up there. I do love visiting the UP, and Grand Marais is like I said, just this special little oasis in the woods. And it was just great to talk to Robin and Bill.
It was wonderful to talk and catch up. I'm looking forward to visiting soon.
We've got links, photos, and more information about Grand Marais, as well as Robin and Bill's vacation rental, in our show notes. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to catch every episode of Life in Michigan. Help us spread the word by rating the show, sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mail carrier. Share it with everybody, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay connected by following us on our website and social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, take care and have a fantabulous day in Michigan.